Hello students, today we are going to study the third chapter of your book Hornbill, that is Discovering Tut, the Saga Continues, written by A.R. Williams. Before beginning the chapter, I would like to introduce you the author. This author, A.R. Williams, developed a love for writing and reading at a very young age, and in the fourth grade, when an assignment to write their own work of fiction was given, it occurred to him that he could craft tales for others to enjoy. And A.R. Williams' work has appeared in Heroic Fantasy Quarterly, Three Crow Press, and Everyday Fiction. A.R. received an honorable mention in the fourth quarter of the Writers of the Future contest in 2010. So, this was about the author. Now, we'll move to the chapter. I'll give you a brief introduction of the chapter. So, this chapter, Discovering Tut, as the title says, that here the Tut is the name of the Egyptian pharaoh or the king named Tutankhamun. His complete name was Tutankhamun. So his mummy was discovered, his tomb was discovered in the Valley of Kings in the neighboring River Nile by the British archaeologist Howard Carter in the year 1922. And this pharaoh, this powerful pharaoh Tutankhamun, died when he was a teenager after ruling for 9 years, and he died in a very mysterious way. So this chapter throws light over all the possible mysteries, the curse where his tomb lies, his life, and ultimately death. Egyptians believe that there is life after death, and that is the reason why pharaohs were buried with wealth and everyday use items. So, now this discovery of Tut's tomb containing his mummified body, numerous artifacts in gold, articles of daily use like precious oils, perfumes, clothes, created a sensation furor in the whole world. And the credit for the discovery of Tut's tomb and its glittering treasures, justifiably, it goes to Howard Carter, who had been digging in the Valley of Kings for last 15 years, and the Earl of Carnarvon, who had founded the cost of his excavations for the same period, as both were obsessed to discover the tomb of Tut, who had reigned more than 3,300 years ago. The Valley of the Kings, the royal burial ground, had been the part of the ancient Thebes, the capital from which the Egyptian empire was ruled at the zenith of its power. And the valley lay a few miles away from the west bank of Niles, whose waters nurtured Egyptian civilization. Opposite Karnak and Luxor, and more than 400 miles south of present day Cairo. So, now we are going to start with the chapter. I'll explain you each and every paragraph of the chapter. So, the first paragraph says that he was just a teenager when he died. The last year means last successor of a powerful family that had ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries. He was laid to rest, laden with gold, and eventually forgotten. Since the discovery of his tomb in 1922, the modern world has speculated about what happened to him, with murder being the most extreme possibility. Now, leaving his tomb for the first time in almost 80 years, Tut has undergone a CT scan that offers new clues about his life and death and provides precise data for an accurate forensic reconstruction of the boyish pharaoh. So, here pharaoh means king, as I told you. Laden means loaded. Speculated means to make a guess or form a theory without evidence. And tomb means an enclosure to bury the dead. Forensic reconstruction means the process of recreating the face of an individual. And pharaoh means a ruler in ancient Egypt was called as pharaoh. So in this paragraph, the narrator says that Tutankhamun, who was also called as Tut, was a teenager when he died, and he was the last successor of his powerful Pharaoh dynasty, which ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries. And he was laid on rest, heavily loaded with gold. His whole body was covered with gold ornaments. His tomb was discovered in 1922, which made the world raise a question about what had happened to him and whether he had been murdered. After almost 80 years, his body was about to undergo a CT scan, which would give new information and clues about his life and death. His face would be recreated with the help of a procedure called forensic reconstruction. So, and now the next paragraph says, an angry wind stirred up ghostly. Dust devils as King Tut was taken from his resting place in the ancient Egyptian cemetery known as the Valley of Kings. Dark bellied clouds had scudded across the desert sky all day and now were veiling the stars in casket grey. It was 6 p.m. on 5th January 2005. The world's most famous mummy glided headfirst into a CT scanner brought here to probe the lingering medical mysteries of this little understood young ruler who died more than 3300 years ago. So, in this paragraph, first I will tell you the meaning of the hard word. Stirred means to move or cause to move slightly. Ghostly means eerie and unnatural or unreal, you can say that. Resting place means the grave. Cemetery means a large burial ground. Dark bellied means dark in color. Scudded means moving quickly and it refers to the movement of the dark bellied clouds. Veiling means like a veil, that means to cover something. Casket means a small ornamental box or chest for holding jewels, letters, or other valued objects. Casket grey it means that the grey clouds were like grey colored casket which contained the stars. Or you can say the stars are like jewels which are kept in a casket. Glided means quiet or continuous motion. Then probe means to investigate or find out. Lingering means long lasting. So in this paragraph, the narrator says that a fast, strange and unnatural wind was blowing as King Tut's body was taken from his grave called Valleys of Kings, an ancient Egyptian cemetery. Cemetery is what? It is the location of the Valley of the Kings, king which where the dead bodies of all the kings was buried. Dark clouds moved quickly across the desert all day long and later they covered the stars. On January 5, 2005 at 6 pm, King Tut's mummy, which is the world's most famous mummy, was placed in the CT scanner to investigate the mystery behind his death, which had occurred more than 3300 years ago. The next paragraph says, all afternoon, the usual line of tourists from around the world had descended into the crammed rock cut tomb, some 26 feet underground, to pay their respect. They gazed at the murals on the walls of the burial chamber and peered at Tut's gilded face, the most striking feature of his mummy shaped outer coffin lid. Some visitors read from guidebooks in a whisper, others stood silently, perhaps pondering Tut's untimely death in his late teens or wondering with a shiver if the pharaoh's curse or death or misfortune falling upon those who disturbed him was really true. So, in this paragraph, the meaning of the hard words: descended means moved or gathered, crammed means very small to fit into, rock cut means to made in a rock by cutting it, gazed means to look or in surprise or in admiration, that means to stare. Murals means a painting or other artwork executed directly on the wall, that is the carvings on the walls. Gilded means covered with a thin sheet or coating of gold. Striking means prominent. Whisper means to speak in very low voice. And pondering means think about something carefully. So in this paragraph, The narrator says that all afternoon the tourists visited the 26 feet deep underground rock cut tomb. So the tomb was cut down. The rock was cut down to reach to the coffin of this King Tut to pay respect to the king. Many people stuffed into the small tomb and looked in admiration at the murals on the wall of the chamber and took a look at the face of Tut that had been painted with gold. While visitors read the guidebooks in a hushed tone, very in whisper or in soft tone, they were reading the guidebook, and some of the visitors, they stood silently wondering about the untimely death of this teenager king. They might also be wondering if the curse of the pharaoh, which leads to the descent of misfortune upon the person who disturbs him, is true. So they were wondering, they were thinking whether, because they had heard that the people, that if you disturb the mummy of these pharaohs, then you will have to face the misfortune, or will have to face the curse of the mummies. And they were thinking whether it was true or not. The next paragraph says mummy is in a very bad condition because of what Carter did in 1920s, said Zahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, as he leaned over the long body for a long first look. Howard Carter, that is, was the British archaeologist who in 1922 discovered Tut's tomb after years of futile searching. Its contents, though hastily ransacked in antiquity, were surprisingly complete. They remain the richest royal collection ever found and have become part of the pharaoh's legend. Stunning artifacts in gold, their eternal brilliance, meant to guarantee resurrection, caused a sensation at the time of the discovery and still get the most attention. But Tut was also buried with everyday things he would want in the afterlife, like board games, a bronze razor, linen undergarments, cases of food and wine. So, in this paragraph, first I'll tell you the meaning of the hard words. The word futile means pointless or incapable of producing the result of something. Hastily means very swiftly or very quickly. Ransacked means raid or to go through a place to steal or damage something. Antiquity means age or oldness. It is related to antiques. Resurrection means restoration of life. And afterlife means life after death, based on the belief that the essential part of an individual's identity continues to the next life after the death of the physical body. So, in this paragraph, the narrator says that as Zahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt, leaned over the body to have a look, he said that the mummy was in a very bad condition because of what the British archaeologist Howard Carter did to it in 1920s. He discovered King Tut's tomb in 1922 after a long search. The valuable treasures of Tut had been explored earlier too, but surprisingly they were found complete. And the treasure found at Tut's grave is the richest till date and has come to be known as the Pharaoh's legend. So, the Egyptian pharaohs, we can say, were very rich. All the pharaohs were very rich, and they have been considered as a legend now. It has artifacts in golds which are eternally very beautiful and as good as new. Such artifacts still get attention. Tut was buried with things of daily use like a razor made of bronze, games, linen undergarments, and boxes of food and wine which he could use in his next life. Because the Egyptians believe that the people who are buried with all these things, the things which are needed in everyday life, then a person is born with all these things in his next life. If a person is, and the Egyptian pharaohs, they were buried with all the riches, because they believed that when a person gets a second life, then they will be born with all the riches. Then next paragraph says, after months of carefully recording the pharaoh's funerary treasures, Carter began investigating his three nested coffins. Opening the first, he found a shroud adorned with garland of willow and olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflowers, the faded evidence of a burial in March or April. When he finally reached the mummy, though he ran into trouble, the ritual resins had hardened, cementing Tut to the bottom of his solid gold coffin. No amount of legitimate force could move them. Carter wrote later what was to be done. So now in this paragraph, the hard words like funerary treasures means the valuable things with which the king was buried. Three nested coffin means three coffins placed one in another in order of decreasing size, or the innermost coffin houses the body of the deceased. Then shroud means a length of cloth in which a dead person is wrapped. Shroud is kafan, which you call in Hindi. Adorned means decorated. Garland of willow means a wreath of flowers and leaves. Mummy means a body of a human being or animal that has been ceremonially preserved by removal of internal organs, treatment with natron and resin, and wrapping in bandages. So this was the way the mummies were buried. They were wrapped in bandages, and they were embalmed with all the resins and other it was a ritual to embalm the whole body in order to protect it from getting you can say from getting rot, you can say. And ritual means the resins used in the ceremony of mummification. And resins are a sticky flammable substance that is insoluble in water. And legitimate means reasonable. So here in this paragraph, the narrator says that Carter took a few months to record the treasures found in the Tut's grave. Then he began investigating his three coffins, which were nested one in another. In the first coffin, he found a piece of cloth with garlands of willow, olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflower, which suggested that he had been buried in the month of March or April, because those flowers or those olive leaves, wild celery, and lotus petals, they used to bloom in the month of March or April. When he reached the third coffin, he was in trouble now, because the body had hardened due to the resins which had stuck the body or cemented the body, and it had stuck to the bottom of the coffin, which was made of gold. And Carter wondered what to do next, because no amount of force could separate the two. So the body had stuck to the bottom of the gold coffin, solid gold coffin. Then the next paragraph says, the sun can beat down like a hammer this far south in Egypt, and Carter tried to use it to loosen the resins. For several hours he set the mummy outside in blazing sunshine that heated it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing budged, he reported with scientific detachment. Blazing is hot, and here budged means moved or shifted, or a slight movement. So nothing happened. Detachment, that the consolidated material had to be chiseled away from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king's remains. So in this paragraph, the narrator says that Carter tried to loosen the resins first by keeping the body in the hot sun, thinking that the resins would melt. Then he kept the mummy in 149 degrees Fahrenheit heat for several hours, but still it remained stuck. Nothing buzzed, nothing happened, the resins did not melt at all. And then he reported that a chisel could be used to cut down the mummy from the limbs and the trunk, so that Tut's body could be taken out of the coffin. So now they had to chisel away the whole body. They had to remove the body from the bottom of the coffin. Then further, next paragraph says, in his defense, Carter really had little choice. If he hadn't cut the mummy free, thieves most certainly would have circumvented. Circumvented means find a way around. Thieves would have found a way to tackle the guards. Then circumvented the guards and ripped it apart to move the gold. Then, in Tut's time, the royals were fabulously wealthy, and they thought or hoped they could take their riches with them. For his journey to the great beyond, King Tut was lavished with glittering goods, precious collars, inlaid necklaces and bracelets, rings, amulets, a ceremonial apron, sandals, sheaths for his fingers and toes, and the now iconic inner coffin and mask, all of pure gold. To separate Tut from his adornments are the ornaments that he was wearing, Carter's men removed the mummy's head and severed means cut nearly every major joint. Once they had finished, they reassembled the remains on a layer of sand in a wooden box with padding that concealed the damage. The bed were Tut now rest. So here in this, the word circumvented, I told you, inlaid means a decorative pattern on the surface. Amulet is an ornament or small piece of jewelry thought to give protection against evil, danger or disease. Apron is a protective garment worn over the front of one's clothes and tied at the back. And sheaths are the close-fitting covers. Iconic means something or someone who is a symbol or it represents some other thing. Adornments means ornaments. Concealed means hid. So in this paragraph, the narrator says that according to Carter, he had no choice other than to cut the mummy. He believed that if he hadn't done that, thieves would have removed the gold from the tomb and would have looted it. During Tut's time, the royal people were very wealthy and they had to believe that after death they could take the wealth along with them. For his life after death, he was given precious collars, necklaces with decorative patterns, bracelets, rings, amulets, ceremonial aprons, sandals, sheaths for fingers and toes, and now an iconic inner coffin and mask. His men removed his head and every joint of his body. And after they finished, they reassembled the remains, the remains of the whole body in a wooden box with padding filled with a layer of sand to conceal the damage that they had done by cutting the limbs. It was now the Tut's new resting place, the wooden box. Then further, the next paragraph, the narrator says, archaeology has changed substantially in the intervening decades, focusing less on treasure and more on the fascinating details of life and intriguing mysteries of death. It also uses more of sophisticated tools, including medical technology. In 1968, more than 40 years after Carter's discovery, an anatomy professor x-rayed the mummy and revealed a startling fact. Startling is unexpected or surprising. Beneath the resins that cakes his chest, his breastbone and front ribs are missing. So now in this paragraph, the narrator says that in the past few decades, archaeology, you all know, has changed a lot as it now focuses on the details of life and the mysteries of death. Earlier, it was about they used to focus on treasure. Now it uses more advanced medical technologies and tools for research. In 1968, an anatomy professor x-rayed King Tut's mummy and revealed that the front limbs and breastbones were missing. So that was very startling and very surprising. So now this is all in this class. In our next class, I will continue with this chapter.